Revolutionizing the Understanding of Religion and Law, a comprehensive overview. Introduction to the Matrix concept. Today, as you delve into the intricate layers of religion, law, and human freedom, you must first confront the reality that the matrix of power, as explored by Jordan Maxwell, is not a new concept, but one that has been silently evolving for over 40 years. Maxwell's research, grounded in his studies since the 1980s, challenges conventional wisdom and questions the narratives we have been fed about religion, government, and law. It is essential to understand that this information has not just emerged from popular culture or Hollywood, but from serious academic and historical inquiries that go back many decades. Maxwell's work has contributed significantly to this ongoing conversation, shedding light on the connections between astrology, religious mythology, and contemporary religious practices. Footnote: this section introduces Jordan Maxwell's long-term research on the matrix of power, emphasizing its deep roots in historical inquiry and contemporary relevance. The intersection of spirituality and individuality. Maxwell emphasizes a crucial point regarding spirituality: it has always been a deeply personal connection between the individual and the divine. True spirituality, he argues, is not about institutionalized religions or imposed beliefs, but about the direct relationship each person has with the Creator. This personal connection should not be dictated by authoritative structures that misrepresent the divine. Maxwell criticizes religious institutions that commodify spirituality and use their influence to control and manipulate believers. The essence of understanding God, as Maxwell suggests, lies in seeing the divine in terms that transcend human limitations, recognizing that any version of God that fits neatly into human understanding cannot be the true Creator. Spirituality, therefore, must be viewed through a lens of respect for the mysterious, unknown force that governs the universe. Footnote: this section explores Maxwell's perspective on true spirituality as a personal connection with the divine, free from the influence of religious institutions. The sun is the ancient savior. In ancient times, the greatest enemy faced by mankind was darkness, the cold, fearsome, and dangerous unknown that emerged as the sun set each evening. The arrival of the sun each morning brought light, warmth, and safety, establishing the sun as a symbolic savior for early humans. This reverence for the sun became deeply embedded in ancient religious practices, with the sun representing life, energy, and vitality. The ancients understood that the sun's energy was necessary for life, and they feared the day it would burn out. They believed that the sun's sacrifice of energy was necessary for life to continue on Earth. Over time, the sun's role as a savior mutated, influencing the religious concept of a Messiah in Christianity, with the sun metaphorically dying and being reborn each year. Footnote: this section explores the ancient reverence for the sun as a symbol of life and sacrifice, highlighting its deep influence on the concept of a savior in religious traditions. Astrological influence on religious practices. Maxwell traces the origins of many religious practices back to astrological phenomena, noting that the 12 apostles of Christianity, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 constellations of the zodiac share a common root in astrology. He explains that the 12 constellations represent the 12 signs through which the sun passes, much like the 12 figures in religious narratives who are tasked with guiding or protecting the faithful. The influence of astrology on religious practice is evident in the alignment of Christian symbols with astrological events, such as the sun walking on water or rising from the dead. These symbols, though transformed over centuries, originally had astrological significance and were used to explain natural cycles of life and death. Footnote: this section illustrates the deep connection between astrology and religious practices, focusing on the symbolic use of numbers, such as 12, and celestial events. The role of the sun in Christian and Jewish traditions. Maxwell's critique extends to the parallel between the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the annual rebirth of the sun. He argues that the resurrection story in Christianity mirrors the sun's journey, with the sun appearing to die for 3 days during the winter solstice before rising again on December 25. This, Maxwell claims, is the basis for the celebration of Christmas, which has roots in ancient sun worship. Similarly, the Jewish Passover, which marks the sun's return in the spring, shares similar themes of death and rebirth. Both religious traditions, Maxwell argues, are part of a much older cycle of sun worship, which has been passed down and adapted over thousands of years. Footnote. This section examines the connection between the resurrection of Jesus and the sun's annual rebirth, asserting the shared origins of Christian and Jewish traditions in sun worship. Astrological calendar and its influence on religious holidays. Maxwell delves into the ancient origins of religious calendars, specifically focusing on the solstices and equinoxes that marked the passage of the sun through the zodiac. He explains that early civilizations used the sun's movements to establish key dates for religious celebrations, such as the first day of winter, the first day of spring, and the first day of summer. These dates are crucial for understanding the symbolic meaning of religious holidays, including Christmas and Easter, which correspond to the sun's return to life after its winter death. By drawing connections between these celestial events and religious observances, Maxwell highlights the astrological foundation of religious rituals that are still practiced today. Footnote. This section explores the connection between celestial events, such as the solstices and equinoxes, and religious holidays, emphasizing their astrological significance. Exposing the conspiracy, the role of secret societies. Maxwell shifts focus to the influence of secret societies and organizations, such as the Jesuits, in shaping modern-day religious and political structures. He argues that these groups, which have operated in secrecy for centuries, have conspired to manipulate global events for their own gain, often using religion as a tool for control. According to Maxwell, these secret societies have infiltrated governments, corporations, and religions to establish a system of control that benefits a select few. He warns that the current state of the world is the result of these ongoing conspiracies, which continue to suppress human freedom and maintain the status quo. Footnote. This section critiques the role of secret societies, particularly the Jesuits, in manipulating religious, political, and social systems to maintain control over humanity. Breaking free from the system, personal sovereignty. Maxwell advocates for the restoration of personal sovereignty, arguing that individuals must take responsibility for their own lives and reject the oppressive systems that have been imposed upon them. He criticizes the idea of divine right, which has historically been used to justify the authority of kings and rulers, and asserts that true freedom comes from the individual's right to self-governance. By rejecting the influence of corrupt institutions and taking control of their own lives, individuals can begin to reclaim their freedom and assert their sovereignty over their personal affairs. Footnote. This section emphasizes the importance of personal sovereignty and the rejection of oppressive systems that limit individual freedom. The law and its role in suppressing freedom. Maxwell critiques the legal system, arguing that it is designed to suppress individual freedom and maintain the power of the state. He explains that the law, rather than protecting individual rights, serves the interests of the ruling elites and their corporate structures. Maxwell emphasizes the importance of understanding the true nature of law and the legal system, as it is often used to manipulate individuals into submission. By educating themselves about the law and their rights, individuals can begin to challenge the system and assert their independence. Footnote. This section critiques the legal system as a tool for suppressing individual freedom, highlighting the importance of understanding the law to challenge its oppressive nature.